How do you go to work and give a hoot about shareholder value for like at the string manufacturer that you work at or whatever? You know,
exactly.
like,
You fake it till you make it, man.
Yeah.
And alcohol problems, substance abuse,
Crane
more,
addiction.
Yeah, more than the guys on active duty.
I love that you just skidded right by it.
Totally.
Okay. Who served as the United Kingdom's Minister of Loneliness.
That is crazy to me. That is a thing.
Sign me up to be the Minister of Loneliness.
What does that look like on a daily basis?
Do you wear a big hat?
What's that starting salary at? What is that? What's the base?
Who am I
I have no meaning.
if I'm not Staff Sergeant blank?
I know, I've been through it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vet Line. My name is Adam.
My name is Zach.
Today we're going to talk about loneliness. Is it a real thing? Is it more of a real thing for veterans? If it is a real thing, to what extent is it a real thing, and what can be done about it? Zach, you feeling lonely?
A constant state of loneliness. No, I feel that loneliness is definitely out there. It's definitely a real thing that a lot of people, not only veterans, but people struggle with on a daily basis.
They do, and the data shows that it is a contributor to all sorts of health outcomes, negative health outcomes. Being lonely and not engaging with people is attributed to a ton of negative health outcomes, to include an increased suicide rate, which is, for those of you that don't know, already an area of concern in the veteran community.
You know, it's funny you brought that up, because right before here today, we were doing a mental health class, and one of the things that came up was anxiety disorder. And one of the things about that was about loneliness and how veterans struggle with it. And this report, the survey from 2019 stated, 3.6% of veterans suffer from loneliness.
What percent?
3.6%.
3.6?
This was 2019.
I feel like that's very low.
It was 2019.
Okay.
This is only people that are saying it, right?
Right.
Reporting it. But then after COVID, it went up to like 18.8%.
Okay.
Like 2021. Now, today, who knows what that is? But I'm willing to bet it's getting higher as the days go on, as we live in an online world and everything's done on a computer, or remote work as well.
Social media was supposed to bring everybody together. For those of us that are old enough to remember a world before social media, it was supposed to be the thing that connected everyone. Facebook was actually kind of cool at one point.
Yeah, I miss MySpace, man. My top 8 was only the people I was hanging out with that day, and then I kicked the other guys out.
Put all your emo music, like your playlist on the bottom.
Pretty Ricky on there, Grind on Me. I remember those songs.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't think you listen to that, but no, I freaking love MySpace, dude.
Yeah,
I was all over it. And that was my second year in the Marines. It was right after Iraq. I remember getting off in Kuwait. My buddy's like, "Bro, do you know MySpace?" I'm like, "What are we talking about?" He's like, "We got to get it today." I was like, all right.
Everybody who's anybody is on MySpace.
But yeah, you're right. It was supposed to be a cool thing, bring people together, and I don't know where it took a turn.
So the VA released their annual vet suicide prevention report. They do this every year.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
Any report with suicide isn't good.
There's nothing cool about any of this, but let's just talk about some of the numbers. Still today, there was the moniker, the 22 a day, for the longest time since the first Iraq war, since Persian Gulf. Yeah, everybody's been saying 22 a day. Right now it's at 17.5 vets a day, which is a lower number. Lower numbers are good. But we also have a decreasing number of former service members that served in any kind of combat role. I'm not saying that the only way somebody can have post-service traumatic stress, there's military sexual trauma, there's all sorts of things. But like, we're seeing a decrease in folks who saw combat. We're seeing a decrease in the number of people who served to begin with.
Yeah.
And yet that number is still at, I feel like 17.5 isn't a victory. 17.5 a day suicides.
Yeah, and that's not including, on the VA report, the reservists and the guard members.
That's a good point.
In the VA's eyes, active duty is having a DD-214 being deployed or activated for whatever. Now, I'm not talking about AT for reservists and guard members. And if you're in for 6 years in reserves, never deployed, went to AT, that's not active duty. And technically, in the VA's eyes, you're not a veteran.
You don't get
get all those extra benefits with it. Now, I don't agree with it, but
I don't either.
It's a federal laws. But if you include those numbers, and if you're going to tell me that the reservists and guard members don't have anxiety about even today, what's going on, like about having to go overseas, possibly go to war.
Yeah. An uncertainty about will I go, won't I go? How can I ever make plans for my future?
I did 6 years in the reserves after my active duty time in the Marine Corps. I was a platoon sergeant during that time, and most of my Marines had problems at home. Outside the one weekend we had a month, they had alcohol problems, substance abuse,
Crayon addiction.
Yeah, more than the guys on active duty.
I love that you just skated right by it.
Totally.
Okay.
But it was more than the guys in active duty. I was asking myself during that time, like I was only like 23, 24, and I'm like, why do they have these problems? What's going on? And as I got into this field and learned a little bit more, it's like, well, they signed up for something. It's completely different from what they thought.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys want to go active duty and they didn't. It's impossible almost at that point. And now they're struggling, living on a daily basis. Like they're doing a dead end job half the time, and then they're playing Marine on weekends and they're going back to what they were doing. And that anxiety builds up.
It does. Tying this back into the loneliness epidemic, common risk factors that this VA suicide prevention report noted were pain, lack of housing, and access to care. Also mentioning feelings of anxiety, depression, and isolation.
We got to ask ourselves why. Why are the veterans feeling that way? What can we do about it moving forward? Like I've worked with a lot of veterans throughout the years. With suicidal thoughts, just mental health problems as a whole. And the number one thing that always comes up is like, dude, I have no purpose, man. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Who am I?
I have no meaning.
If I'm not Staff Sergeant blank.
Yeah. I've been through it. Like I had my problems before I got it. Like that's why I do this field, the veteran community. Like it gave me my purpose. But before this, I was faking it, man. I think a lot of vets do. And then when you're down, it really hits hard. You got to find that purpose in your life, but it's not always easy. It's a struggle.
And it's not easy to express that you are going through these feelings. It's not big, tough military veteran to say, I'm feeling lonely and sad.
Yeah, nobody says that.
Nobody says, right. They should. And if anyone ever feels that way and wants to say that to me or to Zach, you come and say it. And we will listen to you, and we won't make fun of you, because it's a serious thing.
Taking a quick 20-second break in the action to talk to you about our incredible sponsors, Tayback Law. The best in the business, the most reliable when it comes to VA disability claims and appeals. They've personally helped me. I am a client, and I highly recommend that if you need some support with your VA disability claims, that you check them out. Brand new website at taybackattorneys.com. Back to it.
The reason why we're talking about this is because in the American Legion magazine, yes, the American Legion has a magazine, and I'm one of the nerds that reads it. They have a great article called The Invisible Epidemic. Some of their data juxtaposed with the data from the VA suicide report is really compelling. 40% of veterans experience moderate to high increasing loneliness, which is also tied to substance abuse. That's rough.
Yeah, but also, I mean, that loneliness can be looked at as, overworking. You're not only isolating, you have anger, you're numbing out, right? And it's tough to find those people and point them out. And when you see them and you know it and you call them out, they're like, no, man, I'm good. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm straight, bro.
1 in 6 Americans say they feel isolated from those around them all or most of the time. And 1 in 6, what percentage is 1 in 6?
That don't ask me, dude.
It's like 18%. Math. But that number is higher in veterans. This is also interesting. The scientific evidence shows that the use of digital social media can reduce the perception of loneliness or isolation in older adults, but it can also do a lot of harm.
It's not helping anybody.
I think if you actively search, and that's the hard part, taking a step towards actively searching for that family, that community after service, it can be really tough. If you're just going through your newsfeed on Facebook, it is programmed to feed you stuff that makes you angry and upset, so you click and share and do more. Like, that's just why it exists. But there actually are kind of some founding intentions of social media on the whole, some things about it that give you an opportunity to find people who are like-minded or come from similar places that want to share and discuss and open up. I think the difference is casual social media use, killing time on TikTok, which I'm guilty of, versus actively seeking out and engaging.
Veterans don't struggle because they're weak. Some struggles, like, people look at it like, that's how veterans feel. I feel like they're weak because of a certain thing. Because I'm feeling like, so lonely, like I'm not going to tell anyone, so it comes off as weakness. But like, veterans don't struggle because they're weak. They need to have that purpose, that meaning in what they're doing in life. And after the military,
It's hard to find.
that's gone. And you go back home after that honeymoon phase. What are we doing?
Yeah. How do you find, like, when you just got done sleeping in a half blown up school in Iraq on shards of glass with no blanket, like, how do you go to work and give a hoot about shareholder value for
Exactly.
like at the string manufacturer that you work at or whatever, you know,
exactly.
like,
You fake it till you make it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're built for a specific thing and you take that away from you, that purpose.
and that was it for me, a loss of a sense of purpose. Like, I went from being a basic training instructor who was really good at what he did, and at any given day had hundreds of people who, like, at my word, did this, that, or the other. And I was responsible for their care and safety and their development and their inculcation. And that's $1 million word. And their it felt really important. And then I go from that to my first post-service job where I'm salaried at $36,000 and, like, being treated like an entry level, like, fresh out of high school, first job ever. And it was kind of a gut punch. It was a bit of an ego punch because I thought that I was bringing more to the table, and nobody really told me that I had to pay a lot of dues. Like, you pay dues in the military, you got to start over with dues in the civilian workforce, unless you're like a general and you're, you know, going to be a lobbyist or something. But I felt unimportant, and I didn't know if what I was doing was important or valuable. And I certainly did not have a community. I was not working alongside a ton of people who would have related to that situation at all.
Yeah. I mean, you lose your heart, right? Your heart's not in it. Like in Marine Corps, you know, for myself, my heart was in it. Obviously, the whole time I was in, I loved it. I loved it and hated it. I'll say that. But then coming home, working some dead end jobs that I was doing, I'm like, again, you lose that purpose, you lose that brotherhood. And as a man, I don't know who I was until that one day I helped that one veteran. And I'm like, this is it, man.
That's it.
That's it. And I've been doing it ever since.
One widely cited study, this is wild, from 2010 found that lack of social connections was as bad or worse for mortality and longevity than other factors such as physical inactivity, air pollution, or smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
Loneliness can be as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Do you believe that?
I would say in extreme cases, yes. Depending on what other disabilities, mental health disabilities specifically, that person is dealing with.
Yeah, and maybe they go hand in hand. Maybe you're more likely to smoke 15 cigarettes a day.
Like I said before,
lonely.
like, I hate being alone. If I'm alone, I'm like, this sucks. I need to constantly talk to people, see that I'm making a difference out there. And sitting there in a room alone by myself, no kids, no dogs, nothing. I'm like, I gotta get out of here, go for a walk or something. Like, I know for me personally, that's a struggle, and I still work in it daily. And so I'd say for specific people, yes, but as an overall statement, seems a little extreme.
It seems extreme.
But
again,
people, yes.
Disclaimer, we'll probably say this disclaimer every single time. Veterans are not a monolith. They're not all the same. You know, if we say veterans this, veterans that, we're talking on the whole, on average. And if you're upset, just take a deep breath. We're not saying you're all the same. We're part of that community too. Yeah, 81% lonely adults who report experiencing anxiety or depression. See, this, I'm not being tongue-in-cheek here, but this is something that I kind of genuinely don't understand, that feeling of loneliness. Like, I've felt the feeling of lack of purpose. I felt the feeling of separation, but I'm one of those, like, time on my own is a great gift sort of people. Like, everybody has their limit. You know, some people need to talk to people after 5 minutes. Some people need to talk to people after 5 hours or after 5 days. Everybody's got a limit because we're social mammals. We're social creatures. My limit is pretty long. I can hole up by myself somewhere for a very long period of time. I'm an introverted or extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
Like, I'll talk to people, but I need to take a nap afterwards.
It depends for me, at least.
Okay.
Like, in the city, no, I don't want to be alone here. I got to talk to people. But if I'm like up in northern Wisconsin, in the middle of nowhere in the woods,
it's one of my favorite places to be.
That'd be my bleed out spot right there, baby. I'd be fine. I'd be fine. But when I'm up there, middle of nowhere, you hear nothing, maybe animals.
Yeah.
I could sit there for hours and be fine. But if I'm here in the middle of the city and hear cars and people and all that, it's a different kind of chaos in my head.
This is from the article. In quote, "We all experience loneliness," says Tracy Crouch, who served as the United Kingdom's Minister of Loneliness.
That is crazy to me. That is a thing.
Sign me up to be the Minister of Loneliness.
What does that look like on a daily basis?
Do you wear a big hat?
What's that starting salary at? What is that? What's the base? Are there bonuses? Like, what does that look like?
Can I pay you to be the Minister of Loneliness?
I don't know what that person's doing, but I'd be very curious.
It's it's the British. What can you say?
I guess. Okay.
British. I don't know what I meant by that. I've never met a British person that I didn't like.
The only thing I could think of is like after Iraq War, Afghanistan, these young kids are coming home and they're talking about their feelings more.
Yeah.
They're being
which is good.
That vulnerability they have, that they're opening up and saying, no, I don't know who I am. I need help. Going back to like previous wars, you rarely hear that because men are men, got to handle it.
Yeah, rub some dirt in it.
Yeah, and then nowadays, like, men are being a little bit more open. I think that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Well, friends, if you are feeling lonely and you ever want to chat with any of us, we're on all sorts of different social media stuff. I'm not going to list them off right now, but drop us a line. Like, we'll seriously reply to you and chat with you because you're cool.